Hi everyone, in this tutorial today we're going to learn how to crochet a pine cone. Now these are great for any little Christmassy things, and they also work for a lot of autumn style things as well. This is a beginner friendly tutorial. It uses chain stitch, it uses slip stitch, and it uses double crochet, and I'm going to show you how to do all of those in this video and how to put them together into a pine cone. So to start, you're going to need a ball of chunky yarn. I've chosen just plain brown, and the hook that works for that. So for this yarn, it's a 6mm hook. The first stitch you're going to need to do today is a chain stitch. So I'm just going to get some yarn off this ball. And as always, you're going to start by tying your slip knot, like so. Pop that onto your hook. Wrong end. Okay, so you've now got one loop on your hook from your slip knot. To make a chain stitch, you're going to yarn over from around the back round to the front. You're going to use your hook just to pull that yarn through the loop, and that's one chain stitch. So to do that again, you're going to yarn over and pull it through the loop. Now you've got two chain stitches. Yarn over, through the loop. And for this pattern, you need to chain 20. So there's 3. So I'm going to finish the rest now. 4. And there you have 20 chain stitches. So the first instruction in this pattern is to slip stitch to the 3rd chain from the hook. So in order to work that out, you need to be able to count your chains. And chain stitches look like these little V shapes inside the plait. So we're going to count 3. So there's 1, 2, 3. And to do a slip stitch, all you're going to do is you're going to take your hook, push it through that chain that you've just counted to, grab your yarn, bring it through the chain, and then take it straight through the loop on your hook. And what that makes is a little bit of a bobble. See that? Okay, so the next instruction is to do a double crochet in the same chain you've just worked in. In order to do a double crochet, you're going to yarn over, and you take your hook and put it back into that same chain. You're going to yarn over again and bring it through the chain. So now you've got 3 loops on your hook, and one of them is through the chain. And you're going to yarn over and put it through 2. You're going to yarn over and put it through 2. The next instruction is to chain 3. So that's 1, 2, 3. And then just like before with our chain, we're going to slip stitch to the 3rd chain from the hook. So that's 1, 2, 3. Pop your hook through that chain, pick up your yarn, put it through the chain, and then through the loop on your hook. So now you've got a bobble, a double crochet, and a bobble. And essentially, we're just going to repeat that pattern 4 more times in this chain, and then we're going to work down this original chain row until we've got bobbles and doubles all the way along. So I know that probably doesn't make sense, but I'm going to show you how you do that now. So we're going to do that again. So we're going to do a double into the same chain. And we're going to chain 3 and slip stitch into the first chain of that chain 3. So now I've got 1 double and a bobble, 1 double and a bobble, and we need 3 more double bobbles in this chain space. So double, chain 3, slip stitch to the first chain. So now we've got 3 double bobbles, 2 more to go. Double crochet into the same chain space, chain 3, There's 4, and now we need 1 more. So another double, back into the same chain. 3 chain stitches, and slip stitch back to the first chain. Okay, so can you see that what you've got up there, it's kind of like the bottom half of a star? You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spokes, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bobbles, and they're all coming out of this circle piece here, which is that original chain that you worked into. So what you're going to do now is start to make this pattern, but move it up the chain of your original row. You're going to skip the next chain and start working into the second one along from your original hole that you've just worked into. So to start, you're going to yarn over, do a double crochet in that next chain along. 1, 2, and then you're going to do your chain 3 again. And you're going to slip stitch. You're just going to keep repeating this. So I know it feels like a lot to remember at the beginning, but you do just keep doing the same thing over and over again, and it really does build up after that. So now we've got 1 double bobble in our chain space, and we need 4 more, just like before. So I'm going to go in and do that. It's 2. We've got 3 spokes coming out of the original chain. So just so you remember, it's a double, and it's 3 chains, and a slip stitch to join your chain back to the original chain to make the bobble. So now we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spokes coming out of that chain stitch, which means it's time to move along our row. So again, we're going to skip a chain and we're going to go into the next chain along. So it's a double. Don't worry if it starts to get a bit curly, that's actually good, because what we're going to do at the end is we're going to spiral all these little spokes up, and they will become all the different layers of your pine cone. So I'm going to show you this one, and then we'll skip to what it looks like at the end. So we've got 2 spokes coming out of this chain. Three, so it's a double, and then it's 3 chains and a slip stitch. And we've got 4, so double, and 3 more chains and a slip stitch. Now we've got 5 spokes coming out of that chain, so it's time to keep moving up the row. So we're going to skip one, you're going to do the same again in this chain next to it. Okay, so once you've worked it all the way down the chains, you will have put 5 doubles and 5 bobbles in the last chain stitch on your row. All you're going to do is you're going to take your hook, pop it into that last chain stitch again, do a yarn over, and you're just going to slip stitch that all the way through. It can be a bit tricky, but there you go. And then 1 chain just to finish it off. Tighten that up. Pull yourself through a nice long tail of yarn, because you're going to use this for some sewing now. And then snip it off, detach it from the ball. So what you should have is something that looks a little bit like a brown spiral with bobbles all around the edge. And all you're going to do You're going to spiral that up till it resembles something like a pine cone, like that. So the way that you secure this, get the end of your wool and pop it on a yarn needle. And then, once you've spiraled this up, you're going to take that yarn needle and you're going to pop it just off centre. I like to do this anyway, just a little bit off centre. I'm going to push it all the way through all those layers right to the bottom. Pull it out. Don't put it too tight because you want it to have a little bit of texture. And then you're going to push that needle back through just up the other side. Like so. Just pull that. And there you have your little pine cone. And then I like to just take these two ends, the original little short tail and the long tail that you've just been sewing with, tie them off to a little knot. And then you can weave those ends in just a minute. There you have your little pine cone.